What is going on, everybody? And in this video, we are talking about a state of the market and particular picks we are looking at going forward. Tomorrow is Friday, though, so just be aware that on Friday, January 28th, that typically is cleanup day, take profit day. So don't expect a lot on a Friday. Being said, we had Apple earnings today after the bell. Coming into today, the market just digested a lot of what Powell was saying. We attempted to go for it this morning. Actually, seeing the market flat was actually a very positive sign in my mind that the market took things with a grain of sand from Powell, essentially saying that he doesn't quite know how many rate raises they're going to be. All he knows is that in March there will be zero. There will be no more tapering. It will all be removed. We are going to go essentially meeting by meeting to determine when we're going to have rate raises. And this is all apparently going off of some data that everybody's already seen, but really it's kind of up to the Fed to kind of gauge, like, well, if we go too fast, it's going to hurt the market. So we're going to stop the taper in March, give it 2 more months from that point. We might consider doing a rate raise, give 2 months after that. Then maybe we'll probably throw in 2 rate raises. But the funny thing is coming into today, there was a lot of rumors going around. There was a lot of different things coming in as far as the market is trying to almost price in 7 rate raises. And now 7 rate raises would cripple the market. There's no way. It's not that the Fed couldn't do that. They very well could. But I think if the way Powell is approaching it, I don't feel like he would put that many rate raises down just because of the setback it could perform. We just got out of the pandemic. We're just starting to get solid footing. We're seeing some solid earnings. Apple just had earnings. It did fantastic. Yes, the iPad sales were down a little bit, but everything else, they just blew it out of the water. Then they went with no guidance, which is something which I think is extremely good because the way analysts are essentially handling forward guidance, they expect your previous numbers or your current numbers to essentially outdo your previous numbers. And considering that a lot of these numbers are coming from a pandemic, people with historically high savings rates to continue spending, and that's just not going to happen. So I think the approach that Apple takes is good to an extent. It's bad in the short term, but the market took their earnings very well, and we actually pumped. This is the first pump we've seen coming out of earnings. So Microsoft was pretty solid for the most part. It showed weakness, but Apple didn't show weakness at all, which was great to see going into tomorrow. So it is Friday, Take Profit Friday. What are we going to really expect on Take Profit Friday? The market has been playing this range. The market can even revisit the 42.41 mark, and we would still be okay. We just really don't want to break this bottom zone here. We've been playing up to essentially that 44.50 mark. So as long as we play that range, I think we're solid. I really don't see us selling unless Powell turns around and says, okay, there's going to be rate raises. Now, maybe people are waiting on the FOMC meeting notes, which will take about 2 more weeks before we get those. Those will come out and give guidance onto what came of this meeting, give more insight and why they've chose to do a complete taper removal in March, and what they're discussing as far as like rate raises, gives more insight. And so, whatever data can come out, I don't think that really matters. You're going to get an initial move one way or other. Ultimately, what is going to matter is what Powell does. What is Powell's move? And so this year will be essentially dictated about what Powell will be doing. When is he actually going to make a rate raise, right? Because what's going to happen is if he continues to kick this can down the road, the market's just going to get tired of it, and the market will start pushing back up. And then whenever that rate raise actually comes, then they'll could possibly sell off. But we're going to see through these earnings what else comes of it. So if we get good solid earnings moving forward, I can see us start reversing and heading back up. Do I see a bear market as continuing selling? No, I don't see us continued selling. There's this threat of rate hikes, and people are unaware. So that's why we're getting this nasty chop in these wicks, because people are afraid. Well, if it does break out, how long it's going to break out? That's where we're seeing wicks up and wicks down, because there's no reason to sell more. Even your Tesla is down over 30%, which is one of your top stocks. Even Apple took a major hit as well before it started pushing up in earnings. So a lot of big leaders have already taken a massive hit going forward. Again, it's playing chop. I want to see how this handles tomorrow. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we possibly revisit that lower zone tomorrow, or maybe we gap up. Maybe Apple has enough in it to gap us up over that 44.33 mark. If that is possible, if we open up over that, we would break the wedge as well, and possibly start reversing this thing. Again, there's a lot of headroom to make up before it is a first reversal. And I think we could possibly do it now, because we got a whole month before we have the next FOMC meeting. But again, 2 weeks you're going to have the notes, and then 2 weeks after that you're going to have the other meeting. So being said, like, we're still walking on eggshells. So even if we do just start pushing up, I think you may get one or two parabolic moves. You're not going to see the big moves I think that we saw before. You might see some of these bigger moves like this. As far as like the big 50, 80 point moves that you see like on Tesla and stuff, I think are going to be diluted a little bit more, just because we don't really know what the Fed is doing until they actually announce it. So we'll have to see. But one thing after hours is good to see is Bitcoin is pushing up. Again, it's hitting resistance here at the 432 mark here. So I think there was a lot of rumor about Biden and the SEC essentially saying that they're going to outlaw crypto. So there's a lot of random stuff just floating out there. It would behoove the government to do that, because it's something else they could tax. And they've been trying to discuss the stable coin and trying to understand everything. So I think, again, the 32K mark is what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Moving forward, it's good to see this start pushing up. We want to continue up. Again, I think we're waiting to see. I think we're getting in earnings mode. I think by next week, I think we're still digesting what Powell said. And I think by next week, we'll probably start reversing back up. Again, my opinion is not financial advice. You definitely want to be mindful and have risk management very tight at the moment. So going in tomorrow, Tesla continues to sell. Although it sold all day, I actually expect this to gap up back up to 900 and see where that goes, get back in this zone. I think this was just a panic sell for no particular reason, especially with Apple pushing up. Apple is going to be a big continuation play tomorrow that I want to watch. Again, it's got this 168 mark to really watch. I think if we could break above that, we can start getting this in discovery mode with that. Microsoft is one. It attempted today to break up above this, essentially this 308 mark. If you can break above that tomorrow, I think this will start running as well. If you get Microsoft and Apple, we've been kind of getting two big tech stocks running in tandem, going up, and they've been kind of help pushing the market. I think your Apple and your Microsoft will be those two. And I think you're actually going to get Google closely following that behind. It's been pumping a lot, but this 2644 mark is something I think needs to break tomorrow. Then you got some more resistance up here again. You got the 200 moving average. You still want to get over that. Again, there's a lot of resistance. We've fallen a big ways down, so there's a lot of resistance we got to break through to get back up. And then considering all the other, the Fed threatening about rate raises is kind of going to make this a bumpy ride on the way up just as much as it was on the way down. Chips, they've kind of really taken a beating today. NVIDIA kind of held today. AMD, all the chips pretty much got hit. I know there was some China news today, so that kind of took that down. Facebook, it's holding this 295 mark really well. If it can hold that, so look for another pop. It actually looks like it's wedging going into tomorrow. This might be a good play tomorrow, especially if the market turns. This is actually a really good play. I really do like this because if it does break below that 293 mark, you can cut fast. Otherwise, it breaks above this tomorrow, which it looks like we'll get a direction come pre-market. And then, you'll be able to determine about Facebook. But Facebook does look really good for tomorrow, especially if the market turns. I think it'd be one to jump in and catch the pop on that because I think that it's got a clear pivot back up to the 308 mark, especially if you can pop over this trend line. Amazon wedging just like everything else. There's another big wedge. I think this could possibly go tomorrow as well. Yeah, we need a break above this. So essentially that 2871, if we could break that, I think the market could possibly do some big things tomorrow there as well. Airbnb, a lot of these really good companies. I think if you're investing in them long term, you want to kind of go with big tech and then look for these smaller cap stocks. They're going to continue to get beat down until the market really knows what's going on. Team is one to watch tomorrow. I had good earnings. Kind of wanted to hold, see where it is tomorrow. Kind of want to hold it above the 325 mark. If it does hold above that tomorrow, I think it could really, now that it's over the 200, now it could really make another pivot up to possibly the 341 mark. So that is another one to look for. I do like Team tomorrow. That one's not looking too hot. But those are the couple I want. I don't want to give too many. I think it's important to focus tomorrow. I think your Microsoft and Apple are probably your leaders. Watch Facebook. Facebook looks like it's ready to rip out. Google's another, like I said, Google's another good possibility. It's been trying to pump. If it does gap, watch this again, the 2645 mark. I think if we can get over that, we can really do some damage. But it is still Powell digestion. I don't see us selling off. The only way I could see us selling off is if we actually get rate raises. At this point, I think we're basing very nicely right here to think that we're going to crash right here with no particular catalyst. If there was a catalyst, like if there was actual rate raise, I think we could do that. They can continue to price it in. I don't think that they're going to be able to price in 7 rate raises. I think that's a bit absurd. I know a lot of people have been talking about that, talking about 5, 6 rate raises. I think it's just a bit much. I think I still think we'll be lucky if we get 2, because I think if we again come on too strong, that it's going to hurt the market more than it helps. So we definitely have to see how that plays out. But if you've made it this far, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Until next time, I will see you guys later.